Okay, so hello and welcome to the Assay TV. Today I'm happy to be joined by Paul Schaffer, Managing Partner at Oryx Global Partners. So Paul, thanks for joining us here today.
Thanks, Amy. Great to be here.
Absolutely. And so maybe we can just start by hearing a little bit of background on Oryx Global Partners and your team.
Yeah, so Oryx is a specialist investment firm dedicated to facilitating the energy transition and securing supply chains through our strategic investments in the minerals value chain. Our team is made up of a whole set of experienced investors with long track records between leading mining private equity funds, international asset managers, and global mining companies. And we're looking to invest across the whole minerals value chain globally in energy transition and critical minerals assets. And that means not only investing in the mines, but also from processing through to recycling and all the supporting infrastructure and services. As investors, we're looking to partner with groups to provide our value add capital to assist with development projects, expansions, turnarounds, restarts. Our team will provide our operational insights and assistance to portfolio companies to help them deliver on the strategy. The last thing I'll note is, as a team, we're also committed to being responsible and sustainable investors and operators to maximize investor returns and ensure our companies create a net positive impact on the ground.
Okay, sounds great. And I'm going to dive into a few of those topics in greater depth later on this interview. But first, the group is headquartered in Abu Dhabi, it's really a growing investment hub resources industry today. So can you talk a little bit about what makes Abu Dhabi and the Middle East in general a preferred jurisdiction for funds to be set up right now?
Yeah, so we're based in the ADGM, which is the financial center for Abu Dhabi, and it's a business-friendly environment with a strong regulatory framework. Now, the Gulf as a whole, but particularly the UAE, is an established hub for investment and capital, but it's emerging as a strategic and neutral hub in the shift of critical mineral supply chains. And that's important for groups like ours who are in the global commodities business. And we feel we are well positioned to action global opportunities being based here.
So Oryx Global Partners is focused on investing to facilitate the energy transition and to secure strategic supply chains. So can you talk about this focus for the company and how this influences the strategy for your investments?
Yeah, so it's a good question. Supply chains are shifting to ensure security of supply of critical minerals to host nations. And that means significant investment is required in various parts of the value chain to achieve that. On top of that, the energy transition and electrification more broadly is ongoing at a rapid pace. And importantly, it's entirely dependent on significant new supply of minerals. So trillions of dollars of investment is needed to achieve these objectives of securing supply chains and facilitating the energy transition and electrification. So that's why we target opportunities across the value chain in energy transition and critical minerals assets. Ultimately, we're trying to position our investments to align with supportive macroeconomic and geopolitical tailwinds.
Absolutely. And so, as you mentioned, the energy transition is one of the key themes for the industry today. Can you talk about some of the more, interesting trends or opportunities you're seeing in this space at the moment?
Yeah, so there are a few things that come to mind. Firstly, I'd say as supply chain security has become more and more critical, as I mentioned, we see a large opportunity set, not just in the mines themselves, but in the rest of the value chain. Things like processing, recycling, and the infrastructure and supporting services required to develop and sustain those changing supply chains. And that's drawing more and more attention lately. Secondly, I'd say in terms of commodities, whilst some receive all the love and attention, like gold right now with its theoretically uncapped price potential, we focus instead on those that might be overlooked, or at the very least, whose price is underpinned by fundamental long-term supply deficits where we see deep value. And that ranges from things like copper to some more niche commodities like those in mineral sands. And then I'd say lastly, more generally, we see a lot of opportunity in equity investments due to the lack of equity capital available to small and mid-cap companies in the sector. We think there's a growing role for patient private capital that allows companies to deliver on their long-term strategies and avoid the burdens and short-term nature of public markets. Now, unfortunately, these days, public markets just seem to be more supportive of large, established, multi-asset operating companies.
Yeah, and it is kind of those other companies, such as the juniors that we focus on here, that are definitely in need of that capital. And so earlier you talked about kind of your strong focus on responsible and sustainable operations, and how at Oryx you focus on creating a positive impact with your investment. So can you talk about why the special focus on this, and how Oryx is looking to lead the investment community in this space?
Yeah, that's a great question. Something we feel very passionate about. To us, it's very clearly benefits all stakeholders, and everyone should do it. Why not? I think because when you invest in the mineral sector, and particularly in a way that helps facilitate the energy transition and secure these strategic supply chains, and you approach your investments in a responsible and sustainable way, which means, amongst other things, avoiding, minimizing, and offsetting environmental impact, and then ensuring you add value to the governments and communities in which you operate through things like social engagement, job creation, infrastructure development, and increased tax revenues, amongst other things. Our view is we can and should almost inherently create a massive positive impact. So it's not only the right thing to do, but from a company's perspective, being a responsible and sustainable operator helps you reduce frictions and barriers to success. So you face fewer issues, therefore de-risk your operations, and ultimately it allows you to realize more value faster. So it's a win-win. It's mutually beneficial to the investors as shareholders and to broader stakeholders. So in Oryx, we'll lead by example through our actions, and we hope that the industry as a whole will see the benefit it provides and move towards adopting this philosophy and approach over time.
Absolutely. It's definitely kind of a good philosophy for other companies to be following. And so finally, just to wrap things up, can you outline any key plans for Oryx for the coming year? So is there any exciting news that we should be on the lookout for?
Yeah, look, we continue to grow quickly as a firm as we add more people to the team, and we're always looking at interesting investment opportunities. There are some potentially very attractive opportunities we're looking at right now, but it's probably too soon to talk about them. So I might have to say that until next time.
No problem. Well, hopefully we catch up in the coming months, if not in our upcoming event in Dubai this coming November. But either way, Paul, I want to thank you for joining us here today at the Assay.
Been a pleasure. We'll see you soon.